to improve the quality of life of inner city residents, their economic prospects, and their neighborhoods. We cannot have a prosperous Indianapolis without a prosperous urban core. We are fortunate to have Olgen Williams as Deputy Mayor of Neighborhoods working hard on that challenge. Politics and voting histories can't matter when you're trying to build a better city. That's one of the reasons I authorized the spending of millions of dollars to fix pools in Center Township that were leaking millions of gallons of water a year. It's why I made public safety job one and appointed a public safety director who's committed to diversity in the police and fire department. It's why the money donated by the Lilly Endowment will go primarily to parks serving the urban core. It's why my office is partnering with Congressman Andre Carson's office so that we will have a fair and complete count in the 2010 census. It's why I wholeheartedly supported the recently passed referendum to build a new Wishart and make sure those who need health care have access to the best care available. It's why I asked my team at Corporation Council to fix the city's broken equal opportunity division. It's why Corporation Council turned a 200-case backlog of discrimination claims dating back to the previous administration into a 0-case backlog of discrimination claims. And we've reduced the adjudication period for those claims from 700 days to 90 days. It's why my administration has been doing outreach to the minority community to get the word out that this city is open for business and ready to handle your discrimination claims in a timely and a respectful manner. It's why 49% of my board and commission appointments represented women or minorities. It's why I am fighting against the blight of abandoned homes by seeking as much money as possible to rebuild those neighborhoods most affected by this problem. It's why we have expanded our charter schools program so the parents of children who need a different educational environment have an attractive and a successful educational option. It's why we have revamped and revitalized our First Tee program so that inner city youth can learn the wonderful game of golf through the Indy Park system. It's why we have, under the leadership of Director Greg Wilson, made minority and women business development a keystone of our economic development strategy, unlike anything before seen in our city. We must have a stronger urban core, and we will. In fact, that's why I'm a big fan of the Down Home Cooking Restaurant. Just down the street, just down the street from where we are tonight on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And it's why $2 million will be invested to remodel the neighborhood surrounding this restaurant to make it more attractive to businesses and use art and streetscapes to tell the story of this historic neighborhood. And we have the owners of Down Home Cooking in the audience tonight. Sam and B. Thompson, will you please stand and be applauded for your entrepreneurial spirit? In the coming weeks, we will call on all of Indianapolis to help us do one of the most important, fundamental things we can do as a community to help keep our city on track for positive growth. 2010 is a census year. And working with Andre Carson's office, we created the bipartisan Complete Count Committee to make sure everyone is counted. The health of our city and those most in need depend on it. Let me repeat, no neighborhood will be left behind in our drive to make Indianapolis a more livable city. No business will be left behind in our drive to create jobs. No student will be left behind in our drive for better schools, and no block will be left behind in our drive for a safer Indianapolis. We must embrace in creative ways to make old Indianapolis neighborhoods the new Indianapolis. This vision for the future will only become reality if we are willing to tackle generations-old problems with intelligent and innovative thinking. We've never done it that way before is not a phrase you'll ever hear in my administration. The city market has fallen on rough times. My administration is determined to face the challenges plaguing this proud landmark. We have solicited bids and ideas from community organizations, engaged the City Market Board, and appealed to civic-minded groups, all to revitalize that market. But it is also clear that we must embrace sustainable technologies and principles if we want to be cost-effective in our work and our structures. Shortly after my administration began, we created the Office of Sustainability to serve as the driver for our green initiatives. It is the first office of its kind in our city government history. We have made tremendous progress under the leadership of Director Karin Haley. In 2009, we added over 20 miles of bike lanes to our roads and were designated a bicycle-friendly city by the League of American Bicyclists. Additionally, we will be installing another 11 miles this spring and have another 21 miles in the design phase. Last year, we conducted a thorough review of 70 city-owned buildings to gauge the potential for these buildings to be more energy efficient. As a result of the review, work will commence this year to retrofit those facilities, including the city market and the city-county building, with energy-saving green technologies. This work will diminish the environmental footprint of these buildings and save approximately $2 million a year. But we can't talk about sustainability in our city without mentioning the efforts of the Indianapolis Museum of Art. As you walked into this building, you may have noticed banners advertising the Virginia B. Fairbanks 100 Acres Art and Nature Park on the IMA grounds. Formerly a gravel pit and construction area, the park has transformed a troubled site to a lush and wild natural terrain. The City of Indianapolis and the museum recently agreed to terms allowing the museum to develop and maintain a parking area and main entrance to the park on land owned by the city. We were pleased to be able to partner with the IMA in hopes of attracting even more visitors to this unique site. And I am particularly pleased that the parking area will be a zero runoff project utilizing bioswales and native grasses to filter stormwater. You are also sitting in a room, the floor of which was 100% made with recycled tires. In fact, this theater was constructed with recycled glass, recycled wood, recycled carpet, and recycled concrete. If someone tells you recycling can't be beautiful, they've never been to the Toby. And this wonderful museum is a profoundly important and well-established leader in the cultural life of our city. And having just had its 125th birthday, it has never looked better. What may be less well known, however, is that there are more than 200 arts and cultural organizations and thousands of artists who help infuse the soul of Indianapolis with creativity and energy. Not only do the arts help make our city a place we all want to call home, they add to our quality of life in other ways, such as the generation of more than $50 million in tax revenue. In every budget I have submitted, I have advocated supporting the Indianapolis Arts Council with $1 million so that more than 50 community institutions can offer education and outreach activities for our residents. For each dollar that we invest in the arts, research shows generally $5 new are returned to the local economy. We should be very proud and very supportive of the arts community here in Indianapolis. During last year's State of the City address, I announced the creation of the Infrastructure Advisory Commission chaired by the Dean of Liberal Arts at IUPUI, Professor Bill Bloomquist. Since that time, the Commission has been busy studying ways to tackle our city's infrastructure needs and holding public hearings so citizens can have their concerns heard as well.